Hello, dear ones. Welcome to this midweek meditation. I hope you're feeling blessed, even in these troubling times, because you are beloved by God with a love that never ends. Regardless of your earthly circumstances, the eternal love of Jesus lifts you above every earthly woe or care. With that love always with me, as long as my earthly needs are met, I'm a happy camper, and you should be too. Jesus said on the Sermon on the Mount that God knows your earthly needs, and he will provide for you just as he does the birds of the air and the flowers of the field. Spiritually blessed, physically provided for, that's the recipe for happiness, yes? Well, unfortunately, for many of us, it isn't. Many people don't feel blessed unless they are doing better than others. I've never understood this. Why should my happiness be dependent on what others may have? I'm a child of God. I have a roof over my head. I have plenty of food to eat and clothes to wear. And if you're in the same situation, I believe you should be happy too. And if you have enough left over to give to help the less fortunate, then you are indeed especially blessed. So why get bent out of shape by what someone else may have? Some people decry the wealth gap. Some people have so much more than others. They say it's not fair. But whoever said life is fair? As long as they gain their wealth in good faith, legally and ethically, I have no problem. Life is not a zero-sum game. One person's riches does not make me or any of us poorer. Indeed, a wealthy person who shares their blessing is a benefit to us all. Perhaps you recall Jesus telling the parable of the workers in the vineyard. You'll find it in Matthew 20. A vineyard was ready for harvest. The owner needed workers to bring in the crop, and he's willing to pay a typical day's wage to each worker who responds. It's a fair wage, for sure. 5 times during the day, the vineyard owner goes out looking for help. He goes early morning, 9 a.m., at noon, 3 p.m., and 5 p.m., each time bringing more workers to the vineyard. At the end of the day, the workers were paid their wage, beginning with those hired last and ending with those hired first. The ones hired first noticed how those hired last were paid a full day's wage, even though they worked only an hour. They expected they would be paid more since they put in longer hours. But how disappointed they were when they were paid the same amount as the others. The same amount, by the way, that they had agreed to receive at the start of the day. And they would have been thrilled with the wage had they not known others were paid the same for less work. But we let what others receive spoil the blessings we have. Alan Culpepper tells a Jewish story centered on the good fortune of a hard-working farmer. The Lord appeared to this farmer and granted him 3 wishes. But the catch was that whatever the Lord did for the farmer would be given double to his neighbor. Well, the farmer was thrilled, and he wished for 100 cattle. Immediately, the wish was granted, and the farmer was ecstatic until he saw that his neighbor had 200. So he wished for 100 acres of land, and again he was overjoyed until he saw that his neighbor had 200. Rather than celebrating God's goodness, the farmer could not escape feeling jealous and cheated because his neighbor had received more than he had. Finally, he stated his 3rd wish, that God would strike him blind in one eye. And God wept. My friends, don't let the blessings others have received spoil the blessings God has given you. If you have enough, then rejoice in the goodness of the Lord, and don't let the possessions of others diminish your joy. It's just pride, It's only envy. And it's a curse if you have it because it robs you of the joy that should be yours. Galatians 5:26 says, "Let us not become conceited, competing against one another, envying one another." I know I have been blessed. Others have more, but that's okay. I will rejoice in the abundance God has provided me. And I pray you will do the same. Have a wonderfully blessed day, dear friends. God be with you until we meet again.